Hey, you crazy cats! 42's live streams and videos are simply not available on vinyl. You will have to go to the YouTubes for that. So if you want content about British traditions and culture, cutting edge social commentary from an unapologetically patriotic perspective, along with a side order of madness you simply will not find anywhere else, then this is the place for you. And to all those early adopters in the chat, don't forget to hit the notification bell. That's how you get the good stuff and make sure you never miss a tasty treat. So with that being said and done, squeeze yourself in. Let's get into it. You know you want to. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Please delete as applicable because the internet is worldwide and time zones are still a thing. And I did manage this week to get from the intro to on the screen without a hitch. We may be getting used to the new StreamYard settings. It may be a fluke. Only time will tell. And with that, I'll say hello to a couple of those early adopters in the chat. First one in, Mr. Super Dave. What about you, chum? Welcome aboard. Mr. Captain Paka. I'll come back to you in a very, very short second because it seems like there's very few people. I'll come back to you, Mr. Paka. Dave's Waffle House is in. Welcome aboard, chum. Brother, Anglo-Saxon, big welcome aboard. Thank you so much for coming along and thank you for your ongoing support. There's Basses in. We've got the Dutch on board. Welcome aboard. Yep, Captain Paka. I just seen your telegram. For those of you that don't know, Paka, Sanson and I were on with Rich, RPW Media last night, and Paka disappeared midstream, but it turned out that he had connection issues, and that's what happened there. Oh, and here is the wonderful, sexy, delectable Emma G. Thank you very much for dropping in, and I hope all went well with the pizzas. Well, I don't know it went well, but you came home early. Martin 909 with or without a W. And the Spanish chicken will be lurking. Lurkers are the backbone of the show, as Mr. Dave Waffle House will tell you. So please feel free to do that. And yes, happy Easter, Martin. With that, what else was I going to say for my introduction? Yes, we'll do a couple of shout outs. The first one that we're going to give a shout out to is Robin Courage is a Cure, who is on a bit of a hiatus, but I did see a post from her and I've had an email, and hopefully she's going to be on for the last Saturday, the end of this month. Hopefully, Robin, she'll be a guest on that, and she's had a bit of a break and she's starting to ease herself back into it, which is very good. The second one I'm going to give a shout out to would be Rich, RPW Media, whose show I was on last night with Paka and Sanson, and it was a very good stream. If you want something to watch on catch up, I could suggest that one. It was interesting. And there's Arms is in. Arms 66, welcome aboard. Thank you for coming along. And the other shout out that we do regular is Mr. Dave Waffle House, who goes, Rich goes live every Friday night at 11 p.m. He also has a media website with lots and lots and lots of good information on it. If you want to know anything about anything that's happened in politics in the recent past, over the last few years, Rich will have it on his website. It's a really good resource, so get involved with that as well. But Dave's Waffle House, he goes live every weeknight from 8 o'clock. You get a half-hour introduction, which is Monday Club Records music. It's all very good. And then at 8:30 we begin with the dribble, and it's mostly stock taking and beaver. Really good place to hang out, nice friendly crowd. Nothing too serious. It's really good. Just come in, say hello, enjoy yourself, get yourself a couple of ducks, potentially win some liquid ass in the duck race on a Friday. So yeah, it's all good. There's more comments in. Yes, a blessed Easter to everybody. Oh, our Sanson's in. What about you, chum? Really enjoyed the chat last night. Really did. Thank you so much. I'm going to come on to something about you momentarily. Yeah, that momentarily is now because we've got all the comments. I have an announcement to make. There shall be no stream from me next Saturday night because the wonderful Sexy Emma and I met 10 years ago, and it's our anniversary, and we are going out to the theatre to watch a show and mark that occasion. So I will not be streaming. However, I will say it. I will take a moment at this point to say something totally off the cuff. Although you've probably all heard it before. Around just coming up in 10 years ago, I met Emma G, and she hugged me so tight that it pushed a load of the broken parts back together. And Emma will probably tell you that it didn't all just mold back together perfectly. And yeah, she probably has had a bit of stuff to put up with from me over these last 10 years. However, I am really delighted that she seen past the flaws and has stuck with me for this length of time. It has been the best 10 years of my life. It's been the 10 years where I felt that I actually lived. And it's been the 10 years where I felt I've been loved. And it's all very quite wonderful. So I'm not streaming next Saturday night, and I will be taking all of that in. However, apart from being our anniversary, it is also England Day. And there needs to be a stream for that. And someone has indeed stepped into the breach. Mr. Sanson Communion has informed me that he is going to stream next Saturday night for England Day. I don't know what the times are, but keep on the lookout for that. And I would also say that if you've been thinking about doing something to celebrate England Day, but not really put any thought into what exactly you're going to do, you've now got 7 days. It can sneak up on you like that. This is what happens. Some suggestions I would have would be go for a full English breakfast. Go out into your absolutely exquisite English countryside and take some of that in. Go to one of your many castles and take that in and learn something about your history. And whatever you do, please enjoy being English for at least a day. Take a little bit of pride in that. And yes, if you do something, I would really appreciate this. Could you send a picture of either yourself, or if you don't want yourself be in the picture, the event? It could be the scenery, it could be the English breakfast, and a little George Cross flag on it in England Day 2026. And then we can log that onto the Facebook page and show that people are actually getting involved. The difference between a day becoming a permanent fixture or how socially important it is all comes down to the public participation. And that is where we're at with England Day. And we will, it's not going away. We're going to keep doing this. And we will see if we can get slightly more participation each year. Hopefully, you can make people jealous with what you've done and make them want to do something next year. And we'll try and build this. It's really easy. Do it by yourself, do it with your friends, do it with your family, and enjoy being English, please. Because with all the shit that's going on, you need days where you can actually enjoy yourselves. That is very important. As someone who has lived in conflict all his life, your party days, your feast days are incredibly important to maintaining your sanity. So please have a go at that. And with that, I'm going to check the new comments. Yes, I was thinking that, Emma, and yeah, and that is also going to involve Wellington boots this year because my feet got more than a little wet. They got fucking soaked. So yes, we have to do our ducking race on Tuesday, and I will be getting the GoPro charged up and getting ready for that. Oh, shout out to Brad James, mate. He's written a poem that is very excellent for England Day. We're going to premiere it, God willing, next Saturday. Excellent. Yeah, I think I have. Do you know what? I've read 3 or 4 of Brad's poems that would all be absolutely excellent for England Day. Brad is not short of content on that, and I think it's bloody perfect. Yeah, really good work, and I'm immensely pleased with that. Ha! Ha! That's perfect. Off to your local church tomorrow. Your local church has an English service tomorrow. Excellent. That is exactly what. Unfortunately, this is where we're at. We have a national loss. We have a national disaster. The country's been running the fucking ground. Uh, Anything patriotic has been shunned and shuffled off the side. And at this point, you build it from the community upwards, and you do it with your friends, you do it with your family, you do it very small and just let it build. And that way it's unstoppable. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's perfect. I love my boy Luther. I love my boy Luther. I got if you're having got problems, don't blame the sun. I've got 97 theses, but the Pope's not one. Yeah, Lutheran was based as fuck. Yeah, that is that is perfect. Uh, particularly whenever you realize how Luther fits into the struggles that we had in getting this country right. Yeah, going to the Lutheran church is perfect. And there's the budgie burger. Excellent. Uh, and with that, while we're talking about all that, let me just see if I can find this real quick. Because Little Wing has indeed done a bit of a project. And let me just see if I can find where it should be in my history. Holy fuck, I watch a lot of videos. No. No, that hasn't helped. That has not helped at all. One momento. But somebody else will. Oh, now I've just totally lost the link. One moment though. Where will I get this? Show Telegram. Let me see. Oh, right. I could have swore this was not was only yeah. There's many problems with the Anglican Church right now, not least the Archbishop of Canterbury. Yeah, and that has split the whole Anglican Church. It's a bit of a clusterfuck at the moment. Nah, share screen, Langley Love. I could have swore I seen this in better in landscape, but here we go. We will add this. Is there anything I can do to no, I can't. Here we go. This is Langley Love. Little Wing did this. You will notice the music. You will recognize the music. This is an alternative video that Little Wing has put to this. Check this out. Hello, you're listening to 42's letter to the Anglo-Saxons. When you spread this message, you are the resistance. The Anglo-Saxon. The Anglo-Saxon shook his head sharply, his hair dislodging droplets of sweat from the back of his neck, the produce of moving a carcass to the workbench. The sharpened blades and cleavers felt natural in his hand. The carcass divided to his will. The Anglo-Saxon's muscle memory was that of a warrior. His body was lost to the toil, but his mind wandered to memories that were not his own. An intruder startled the Anglo-Saxon. However, before him was not the meadows and glades of his ancestors, but a butcher's shop window. While politely serving the customer, the Anglo-Saxon mourned the loss of a kingdom he had never known, of the rituals and customs that were lost long before his grandparents were even born. Outside, the street was a bustle. He knew there were others like him, ones who carried the warrior's pride. Amongst them, he would find the rightful place of an Anglo-Saxon. The Anglo-Saxon.
It was not preached to the crowd, it was not taught by the state. No man spoke it aloud when the Anglo-Saxons began to hate. It was not suddenly bred, it will not swiftly abate. Through the chill years ahead, when the time shall count from the date that the Anglo-Saxons began to hate. When time shall count from the date the Anglo-Saxons began to hate.
I actually really like that because it brings it into the housing estate. I yeah, with ancestors like ours, we cannot lose. This is true. Yeah, I'll agree. It's brilliant. Uh, and to be clear, Little Wing took the video because she seen the flags and the lamppost and she thought she wanted to get that, and then she put the music to it and she sent me a message. She was very, very courteous and asked would I mind if she used it. Now, please work away, get that posted. I'm really pleased with it. For all those that the green people and whatnot, this is reusing and recycling done right. This is how you do it. I'm very pleased with that. Now, with that, we are going to have a little talk about Easter. And before we get into the articles, fucking right with it. Pretty much anything constructive that you've seen on this whole planet was done by white Europeans. I'm sorry, but that's just a fact. Yep. Now, before we get into all the details about Easter, I want to quickly deal with the accusations that Easter is a pagan tradition that has been taken over by Christians. Oh yeah, the facts do matter. The facts matter 100%. And the other thing about facts is they don't care about your feelings. My facts really do not give a fuck about other people's feelings. They are what they are. And speaking the truth is an absolute defense against anything. Now, yes, Easter, the accusation generally is that Easter is a pagan festival that was taken over by Christians. And the main reasons that we get for that is that it was some sort of previous pagan festival, and the rabbit and the egg has absolutely nothing to do with Easter, and I will come on to that, and that it isn't real because in 325 AD at the First Council of Nicaea, a bunch of people gathered around and decided on the date for Easter. Now, while it is true that the Easter date was solidified at the First Council of Nicaea, 325 years after her death, that's not whenever the argument occurred, because it had been going on for quite a while about how we celebrate Easter, and I shall explain to you why. And also, the other thing is, Easter's on a different date every year. Did the crucify him on a different date every year? How does that work out? Why is it tied to the moon whenever it should be tied to a date? And I'm going to explain that to you really simply. The fact of the matter is, Jesus went to Jerusalem to take part in the Passover festival because Jesus was a Jew. And there was a pilgrimage to Jerusalem. The population swelled. People were changing money. People were making sacrifices. People were doing all sorts of stuff. The writers of history are liars. That is absolutely true. There's a lot of your history has got a whole bunch of opinion put on it. So, 1 second, I cough. So the other thing is that because it's dated by the moon, that means that it's a pagan festival, right? So here's the crack. Jesus went to Jerusalem to take part in the Passover festivities. And it was while he was there that the scribes and the Pharisees and other Jewish religious high people, the people at the top of their religion, they put him on trial and then he was crucified. We do not know when Jesus was born. Nobody thinks that he was definitely born on the 25th of December. However, the 25th of December was chosen as a date to celebrate Jesus' birthday, mainly because nobody knew when it happened. I would also say that King Harold, who decided that every child under 2 years old had to be killed because he was trying to kill this Jesus child. It was children under 2 years old. He didn't find out about it until a year and a half. To be clear, also in the nativity play that you all learned at school, where the three wise men come and give gifts, they did not arrive in Bethlehem. They came and seen him quite a while after. It took them a while to find him, like months. But for the nativity play, in order to get that play done and spread the story, it has a compressed timeline. So we don't know when Jesus was born. Nobody was really marking that. No, what happens in Jerusalem certainly does not stay in Jerusalem. It seems to affect quite a lot of the world. So, however, because this crucifixion happened on the date of the Passover, that is documented, that you can work out exactly when it was. We know when Jesus was crucified, or what time of the year. Now, the other interesting thing that he did whenever he went to Jerusalem was he had the Last Supper. And the important thing about the Last Supper is he reinvigorated the covenant. He broke the bread, he poured the wine, and he said, "See this bread as my flesh, this wine is my blood, and do this to remember me." And that's where your Holy Communion comes from. And this is a very, very sharp deviation from the Jewish religion. Anybody tries to tell you that we are Judeo-Christian has got a bit of a problem, because while Jesus was a Jew, he did not preach Judaism, and the religion that came after him, Christianity, is a very, very sharp deviation from Judaism, to the point where they fucking murdered him for not believing what they believe. And it also was a change from the Passover, where they had a feast to remember when the Israelites were spared when the angel of death came, and they daubed the blood on the door portal to have the angel of death pass over and not kill the firstborn of that house. He said, "No, you don't need to do that anymore, because I have came. I'm about to be the sacrifice. This is the only one you need to worry about, and remember me." Yeah. Farage does like saying Judeo-Christian, but mostly because he doesn't understand the religion, and it probably sounds good to him. But there was nothing of the Jewish religion in the Christian religion. It doesn't translate, it doesn't transform. And the other thing I would say is, as Christians, or personally for people like me, I view the Old Testament as a history book at most. And also, with Jesus' death and crucifixion, he did away with the previous rules, because you're now have a whole new system of how you get to heaven. So all those old rules, they're all gone. And you've got a new way of going forward. And that's where the history of Easter comes from. Now, the other things that happened is, first of all, you had the Julian calendar that we worked on through, which then got changed to the Gregorian calendar. One created by Julius Caesar and the other one created by Pope Gregory, where dates changed by like 10 days. 10 days. Just got everybody went, fuck, we've lost 10 days this year. Whenever they sorted that out. And the other thing that happened was in some parts of the church, the Eastern Orthodox, and they would celebrate Easter on the date of the Passover, and then, but the Western ones would do it on the Sunday after the first full moon past the spring equinox, which is how Passover is calculated. So they went, we'll get close to the date and choose the closest Sunday. And that's the argument that was settled in the First Council of Nicaea, 325. So it wasn't they just plucked this date out of thin air. We had various branches of the church doing this celebration on different days, and all that did was go, right, this is the way we're all going to do it going forward. Although the Orthodox Church, they never agreed, and they still have a different date for Easter. So there you go. So it wasn't that this was just plucked out of thin air. Now, I'm going to take this opportunity. Edmund has jumped in. What about you, chum? Welcome aboard. Steve Cray is in. What about you, chum? Really glad to see you. Special K on acid is in. God would be the Father, Jesus would be the Son. The Virgin Mary would be the mother, but she's really not important. She was just a vessel to get him onto the earth. And he was conceived by the Holy Spirit, which is probably the Father. That whole trilogy thing is really complicated. I try not to think about it too much because it becomes overly complicated. Basically, you've got God who split himself into a couple of parts, and I believe that God can do that. The other thing is that one second. Romans 6:4. We were buried, therefore, with him on baptism unto death, in order that, just as Christ was raised from the dead by the glory of the Father, we too might walk in newness of life. Very good. And there's Amanda Lee is in, who's also been to church. I'm really liking this reconnection with her churches. Yeah, it is. It's very good to see a full church. Excellent. Steve Cray, Special Cray, Edmund, Linda. Peter Benton. What about you, Sean? Sorry, I seen you come in, but it was mid sentence, and I didn't want to lose my train of thought. But very welcome aboard, and thank you for coming along. Brad James, what about you, Sean? Welcome aboard. I hear you're going to be along with Mr. Sansom next Saturday night. I'll be watching that and catch up. I will repeat this. Emma G and I, we have a 10th anniversary next weekend, and we are out doing stuff for that. So I will not be streaming, but Sansom is jumping in. Yep. I have to say, I only started going to stop my church being turned into a mosque, but I am getting into it, and I truly believe. Well, traditionally, how this always worked, Amanda, was you went to your church to find your community, and then you bumped into God while you were there. That's how this always worked, and it still works because you've went from going to make sure that it stayed in existence to truly believing. I really, really glad to see that. Yeah, we need to get back there. We need to get back to our empty churches and say hello. We are your congregation. I heard you might need us, and then make your church more based by being there. It's great. Oh, Budgie, I really believe we will. We are going to see a show. I'm not going to say too much about it, but it is centered around the English version of Law, Order, and Justice and whatnot, and that, to be honest way, plays into England Day because we need to celebrate the stuff that the English people have given us, and a good law and order system is one of the things that they have given us. It has got really, really uh, it has got really, really convoluted of late, but that's another one of the things that we need to get back. I think traditionally he does that on Easter Sunday. I'm not 100% sure, but if something in the back of my mind saying that the monarch does the Christmas on Easter Sunday because that's the resurrection as opposed to the death. But I will also say that I am less than pleased with how King Charles is conducting his monarchy. I am a loyalist. I am loyal to the crown. We had a good king for a very long time. Hopefully, William's going to be a good king. And if I was William, I'd have had him down the stairs long ago. But it is what it is. In days gone by, that would have been very acceptable, but apparently it's frowned upon now. But hopefully, Charles will not be on the crown long, and we will have William coming in. But while he's there, we're stuck with him. I wouldn't go as far as calling him a traitor as yet. I would also say that one of the largest problems that our monarchy has is they get shit information. For hundreds and hundreds of years, whenever the king had to struggle with a moral question, he took guidance from the Archbishop of Canterbury and the Archbishop of York. And they would tell him what was what the people in the pews thought, and B, what was the best way forward for the people, and how it lined up with how God sees everything. However, the Anglican Church has become woke, and therefore the Archbishop of Canterbury, the Archbishop of York are both very woke, and they are giving him really bad information. The other place a monarch would have got information from would have been on his many, many engagements where he has to communicate with soldiers, generally of the lowest level of the officer class. We'd have to go and meet the king for various things like having colours dedicated, and those people would have told him about the lives of their squatties that were coming in off the council estates or whatever, and you no longer get to have one of those jobs unless you're woke and are willing to say the right thing. So he's not getting any good information from them. The other thing is, there used to be members of the royal family in the English Orange Lodge. That has not been the case for over 100 years because the English Orange Lodge became that small. It's no longer relevant. So he's not getting any information fed back from there. And I swear to God, there's no way in hell Charles gets home from a busy day, running the country, and thinks, fuck, you know what? I better tune into the 42 show and find out what's actually going on in the country. Or not even myself, anybody else. He's not tuning into Mark Collette. He's not tuning into Tommy Robinson. He's not tuning into the Lotus Eaters. He's getting all that information from the same people that give him the intelligence about his personal safety, who you would be inclined to believe, and they're telling him a load of woke bullshit too. So there's also a problem with the information that he's getting. However, he should be he should be intelligent enough to sniff through and get to the truth. Edmund, thank you. But I think that is a big part of the problem, that we've lost the Church of England. But we need to get that back. Princess Anne might be. I think Princess Anne would be a little more based. Yeah, the king should. There's a lot the king should that the king currently doesn't, but you get the king that you get. That's just lump and file. There was a very unfortunate incident in 1692 or thereabouts where Queen Mary had a miscarriage and then could not have children anymore, and that changed. And that changed the way our line closed. If the king was celebrating Ramadan or partaking in Ramadan, that would cause a constitutional crisis, because he's required to be doing fucking Lent at the minute. And by the way, as will come up later on, I'm going to have to get on the stuff soon because we're running out of time. All right, I've waffled, but yeah, we did in the past fast over Lent, and at one stage it was no eating from sun up to sundown. Then it went to lunchtime. We no longer fast. So yeah, that's a hell of a toll on the body. Yeah, that was an enormous stretch in the body. But anyway, what am I going to do? I'm going to have a quick musical interlude, I think, and then I'm going to find this link. What will we have? Yeah, if he's a Satanist, he can't be doing that job. If he's anything other than Church of England, he can't be doing that job. It's sort of tied to it. By the way, your prime minister and your front bench ministers and all of that are also supposed to be Church of England, but we'll let that go a very long time ago. And that was unfortunate. Nah. What am I going to do? Yes. I need to get some liquid sorted out. So what will we have? Sea shanty. We're going to have a quick sea shanty. We'll go with this. Right. Just need to get past the advertisements. This is coming very shortly. Coming very shortly. Coming very shortly. And this from the 2010 Portsmouth Maritime Festival. Share screen. Share screen. Theater mode. StreamYard. At the stage, they've put extra steps in this, which has slowed the whole thing down. Here we go. What the hell? All right.
Oh, we'd be all right if the wind was in our sails. We'd be all right if the wind was in our sails. We'd be all right if the wind was in our sails. And we'll all hang on behind, and we'll roll the old chariot along. We'll roll the old chariot along. We'll roll the old chariot along, and we'll all hang on behind. Oh, it'd be all right if we make it around the horn. Oh, it'd be all right if we make it around the horn. Oh, it'd be all right if we make it around the horn, and we'll all hang on behind, and we'll roll the old chariot along. We'll roll the old chariot along. We'll roll the old chariot along, and we'll all hang on behind. Well, a night on the town wouldn't do us any harm. Oh, a night on the town wouldn't do us any harm. Oh, a night on the town wouldn't do us any harm. And we'll all hang on behind, and we'll roll the old chariot. We'll roll the old. We'll roll the old. And we'll all hang on behind. Well, another festival wouldn't do us any harm. Oh, another festival wouldn't do us any harm. Oh, another festival wouldn't do us any harm. And we'll all hang on behind, and we'll roll the old. We'll roll the old. We'll roll the old chariot along, and we'll all hang on behind, and we'll roll the old. We'll roll the old. We'll roll the old chariot along, and we'll all hang on behind.
There we go. That was a little sea shanty. Rich is in. No worry. Really enjoyed the stream last night, mate. Thank you so much. Really enjoyed it. And we will talk again soon. Yep. And for those of you that, I think everybody in here has already subscribed to you, But anybody that's not, go and subscribe to this man. He does really good content. You will enjoy. You will thank me for the recommendation. I can guarantee it. You're very welcome. Always enjoy doing that show. I just hope I didn't speak too much gibberish. Right. But nah. Let's see what the Encyclopedia Britannica is going to tell us about the Easter stuff. And you can let me know, was it more accurate or more or less accurate than what I told you about the timings of it? I think that's looking large enough. Easter, a principal festival of the Christian Church, which celebrates the resurrection of Jesus Christ on the third day after his crucifixion. The resurrection is a central doctrine of Christianity and forms the basis of salvation and the hope for eternal life. As its feast, Easter is a joyful affirmation of the belief that through Christ's conquering of death, all Christians will subsequently share in his victory over sin, death, and the devil. While still predominantly a religious festival, in some places the introductions of customs such as egg hunts and treat-filled baskets for the Easter bunny has gradually led to the holiday being embraced by both Christian and secular communities, particularly in the United States and United Kingdom. Right, I will now deal with the whole bunny question. The Easter bunny is a German tradition. It's a Lutheran tradition, and what you have to realize is that back then we practiced Lent properly. So eggs were off the table, fats were off the table. There was a lot of stuff that we were not allowed to eat. The Easter and the end of Lent meant that this stuff was coming back on the menu. And the other thing is, you've just put your children through a difficult period for their religion, where they've had to not get the food that they normally like, and they've had to put up with that. If you want your children to embrace the traditions, you need to make them fun. And how the Germans went about this was they come up with this Easter bunny that hopped about and left eggs and treats in the gardens, and then the children would search for them in the morning, and that made the thing fun. It's basically the earliest form of Santa Claus. Nobody believes Santa exists, but we do know it's really good for the children to have fun. So we do that, and that's all that the Easter bunny is. I will also say that in France, they believed that there was magical bells that flew from France to Rome and came back with the treats. Like bells, like little bells that you would ring. They spread wings and flew off and come back with the treats. That's what the French believed. That didn't take off and hasn't really become a thing anywhere other than France. Why did France have the bells and the Germans the bunnies? Well, the French were Roman Catholic and the Germans were Protestant Catholic. And yeah, so there's things that we disagree on already. The other thing that we've disagreed on quite a lot about was the day of the year, the date, the control of the calendar. All of these fundamental things were argued about between Protestant Catholics and Roman Catholics for centuries, so it's not new. The differences is not new, and the rabbit is not a fertility system symbol in any way, shape, or form. I want to check the comments. Yeah, too far is a rat in Mexico. Yeah, you know, It's Brad gets an Easter bunyan. Oh. His name is Harvey, and he's my friend. Only you can't see him. Sounds good. In Finland, the kids have willow twigs with feathers and crepe paper, and the kids give blessings to ward off evil spirits. Yeah, this is something that was introduced to make it fun for the kids. That's all it is. You don't need to worry too much about that. So let us continue. The gospel accounts of the resurrection of Jesus presents different details about who saw him and where he was seen. According to Matthew, an angel showed the empty tomb to Mary Magdalene and the other Mary, and instructed them to tell the disciples to go to Galilee. While still in Jerusalem, the two Marys saw Jesus, who told him the same thing, and he appeared once more to the disciples in Galilee. Matthew's account is implied in Mark 14:26 and in 16:7. That would be chapter 14, verse 28, for those of you who have forgot how Bible markings work. Though the Gospel of Mark does not have a resurrection story, ending instead with the empty tomb. Mark 16:8, translations print scribal additions into brackets. I think that was a note to the editor that stayed in the thing. According to Luke, however, the disciples remained in Jerusalem. The women, Mary Magdalene, Joanna, Mary, and Mary, the mother of Jesus, and the other woman, found the empty tomb. Two men in dazzling clothes told them that Jesus had been raised. Later, Jesus appeared to two followers on the road to Emmaus, near Jerusalem, then to Peter, and later to the disciples of John. Now including the chapter 21, usually thought to be an appendix, mentions sightings in Galilee and Jerusalem. See all these places, by the way? Do you know what that land was called? That was the land of Judea, the land of the Jews, at the time of Jesus Christ, as recorded by the Romans. So we're all on the same plane, on the plane of what this country was called. The book of Acts provides a more extensive series of appearances than Luke, although written by the same author, but like it places all of these on or near Jerusalem. The fact that we have multiple sightings and people's interpretations, right, that were written down some years later, have a bit of contradiction, has got a lot to do with the state of confusion, because they had went into Jerusalem, they had with a live Son of God, and he had been killed by the Jews. After Pontius Pilate, the Romans went, yeah, fuck, I'm taking nothing to do with this. And then he's resurrected again. It's the wildest party you've ever been to, and you think everybody's going to have crystal clear memories of it. That's not how those things are going to work. Paul's list of people whom Jesus appeared to does not agree very closely to the other accounts. Yeah, everybody was fucking confused. Although the witnesses and locations of the resurrected Christ are not constant across the gospel accounts, 2 points are consistent and important. The sources describe the resurrected Jesus as neither a resurrected corpse or a badly wounded man staggering around, nor as a ghost. According to Luke, the first two disciples to see Jesus walked with him for several hours without recognizing him. Luke also reports that Jesus could disappear and reappear at will. For Paul, the bodies of Christian believers will be transformed to be like the Lord's, and the resurrection's body will not be flesh and blood. According to these two authors, Jesus was substantially transformed, but he was not a ghost. Luke says this explicitly, and Paul insists on using the word body as part of the term spiritual body rather than spirit or ghost. So what they're saying, he wasn't like an apparition. He wasn't like a fleeting sighting that disappears into the mist. He was, he wasn't like a hologram that you could walk through. To all intents and purposes, he was flesh and blood, but they knew that the guy had died the day before or 2 days before. Luke and Paul do not agree entirely, since Luke attributes flesh and bones to the risen Jesus. Luke's account nevertheless requires a transformation. The authors, in other words, were trying to explain something for which they did not have precise vocabulary. Because, do you know what? See, whenever somebody's just came back from the dead, outside of zombie, I don't think we'll have a term for that. So, yes, it is going to be confusing as people try to explain this very strange experience. As Paul's term spiritual body makes clear, the writers of the New Testament nowhere made the resurrection of Christ a matter for argument, but everywhere asserted it and assumed it. So there wasn't a question about this or saying this is what happened, this is the fact. The resurrection marked the beginning of Christ's elevation to glory, and the biblical authors used it as a basis for three kinds of affirmations, back with the trilogies. The resurrection of Christ was the way God bore witness to the Son, declared to be the Son of God with the power according to the Spirit of holiness, and resurrected from the dead. That's in Romans 1:4. The theme was also prominent in Acts. The resurrection was the basis for the Christian hope for life after death. In Thessalonians, I said that word better than I thought I would. And Paul wrote that without the hope was said to be placed in Corinthians 15:21. I'm not going to read out all these verses and things. The resurrection of Christ was also ground for the adornments and manifesto of new life, and to seek the things that are above. The writers of the New Testament themselves expressed doubt that the resurrection had really happened. Oh, I'm going to check the chat, and I'm going to make a point. 1 second, I'm just checking the chat. I haven't looked at a map of the Middle East in quite a while. Could well have been. Well, this is the other thing. After this event, this is where Gentiles start to become Christianized. And it's the first time that we have people that were not Jewish coming in and celebrating some form of Passover after this. If all the religions were on the same page at the time of Jesus, we wouldn't have had 2,000 years of shitstorm. This is true. This is true. But I think we're going to have 2,000 years of shitstorm anyway. Boss is saying that's why he was there to change that, I believe. Yeah. Brad saying Luke was a Jedi. Brad has said something profound. All the world will be your enemy. Prince of 1,000 enemies. And if they catch you, they'll kill you. But first, they must catch you. This is entirely true. Easter hare. Interestingly, all the pagan rabbit type stuff are hares, whereas we have rabbits. Yeah, Jerusalem was the capital of the kingdom of Judea. That's what I thought. Although having said that, I'm not going to claim to be an expert on maps of the Middle East because I'm not. I've got the rough gauge, and that's all I need because, quite frankly, I would like to just build a wall around the whole of fucking the whole of that area and go nothing in, nothing out. Use everybody in there can figure this out for themselves without help from anybody, and see how that goes. And whenever you have figured it out, we'll think about taking that wall down. And whatever happens, happens. Yeah, we haven't got that. The Doubting Thomas, we haven't got that yet. And it's curious as to whether or not they will. But what I want to draw your attention to, as I read the Encyclopedia Britannica, you will notice something that they are doing. Nowhere in this are they asserting the opinion of the writer. What they're talking about is what the early Christians believed and what the people who wrote the Gospels believed, and that is what people do whenever they want to take their own opinion right out of the situation. So Britannica's got no thoughts one way or the other on all of this, which is a bit bad for the Encyclopedia Britannica because it's supposed to be Britannica. It's supposed to be of the views of our people. But there you go. The resurrection of Christ was also the ground for announcements to manifest a newness of life and to seek the things that are above. The writers of the New Testament themselves expressed no doubt that the resurrection had really happened, but Paul's discussion in 1 Corinthians shows that among those who heard the Christian message, there was such doubt as well as the efforts to rationalize the resurrection. The differences among the Gospels and between the Gospels of Paul suggested from the outset a variety of traditions existed regarding the details of the resurrection, but such differences only serve to emphasize how universal the faith in the resurrection was amid this variety of traditions. So you've got some people who are saying, I've seen it from this point of view. Some people are saying, I've seen it from a different point of view. Yet more people are saying, I've seen it from this point of view, but they can all agree on the fact that Jesus died and resurrected. Now, the date of Easter and its controversies. I will refer you back to what I said at the start about the First Council in Nicaea and it having been how Easter was celebrated being a argument within different branches of the church, and we'll see what Encyclopedia Britannica says. The earliest recorded observance of Easter celebration comes from the 2nd century through the commemoration of Jesus' resurrection, probably occurred earlier. Yeah, it did. It started the next fucking year. Fixing the date on which the resurrection of Jesus was observed and celebrated triggered a major controversy in early Christianity, in which the Eastern and Western position can be distinguished. The dispute known as the Paschal controversies. Paschal was the original name for Easter, which comes from the Passover, was not definitively resolved until the 8th century. In Asia Minor, Christians observed the day of the crucifixion on the same day that the Jews celebrated the Passover offering. That is, on the 14th day of the first full moon of spring, 1419. The resurrection then was observed 2 days later, on 1619, regardless of the day of the week. All right, so you've got these people we're doing it on the date of we're following the exact date of the Passover. In the West, the resurrection of Jesus was celebrated on the first day of the week, Sunday, when Jesus had risen from the dead. Consequently, Easter was always celebrated on the first Sunday after the 14th day of the month of Nicene. Increasingly, the churches opted for Sunday celebrations, and the 14th day proponents remained the minority. The Council of Nicaea in 325 decreed that Easter should be observed on the first Sunday following the first full moon after the spring equinox. Yep. So I give Encyclopedia Britannica a lot of shit, but they got this bit right. Yeah, it wasn't just plucked out of air. It was because of this argument that was going on. Basically, I think it was Pope Clementine, I'm not 100% sure, got everybody together and says, right, you're all in the same room, figure this out. Easter, therefore, can fall on any Sunday between the 22nd of March and April the 25th. Eastern Orthodox churches use a slightly different calculation based on Julian rather than the Gregorian calendar, which is 13 days ahead of the former. So in Russia, while they do all of their in Russia, they're on, and in the Eastern Orthodox, they're on the same calendar as us. If today is the 12th of June here, it's the 12th of June there, with time differences, obviously. But when it comes to their religious festivals, they are still using the Julian calendar, which means that they have a slightly different time of the year than us. With the results that the Orthodox Easter celebration usually occurs later than celebrated by Protestants and Roman Catholics. Point of order: Protestant Catholics and Roman Catholics, please. Moreover, the Orthodox tradition prohibits Easter from being celebrated before or at the same time as Passover. In the 20th century, several attempts were made to arrive at a fixed date for Easter, with the Sunday following the second Saturday in April specifically proposed. While this proposal and others had many supporters, none came to fruition. Renewed interest in a fixed date arose in the early 21st century, resulting from discussions involving the leaders of Eastern Orthodox, Syrian Orthodox, Coptic, and Anglican and Roman Catholic churches, but formal agreement on such a date remained elusive. Newsflash for you: once the Roman Catholic Church has put a date on something, they ain't changing. They want everybody to change theirs. Okay, the origin of the word Easter. This word could get spicy. Let's see. The English word Easter, which parallels the German word Ostern, is of uncertain origin. Yeah. Except it's not. Everybody knows that Ostern was the time for that season of year. One view, expounded by the Vernal Bede in the 8th century. Now, Bede was a Christian writer, and he documented a lot of stuff. He documented a lot of true stuff, and he documented a lot of fairy stories. In the 8th century, he said that it was delivered from Easter or Urstel, an Anglo-Saxon goddess possibly associated. Let's just highlight this. Easter or Urstel, an Anglo-Saxon goddess possibly associated with spring and fertility. In the modern era, connection between Urstel and spring has been disputed. She may have been a local protective deity rather than a fertility figure. Yeah, you're close, but you're also very wrong, because it turns out the only mention that anyone can find of this deity, Easter or Eristal, is from this fucker Bede. He's the only person that ever documented it. He's the only person that wrote it down. There is one exception. One of the brothers Grimm did write a little bit about her, but what he said was, I see Bede is writing about this this German Anglo-Saxon deity, and we don't know anything about her. Never heard of her. There's no archaeology. We don't know anything about her, but yeah, maybe. So it is highly unlikely that this person ever existed, was venerated, or has got anything to do with it. However, that's not going to stop the hippies from trying to claim that Christianity took over pagan festivals. 1 second, I want to check the comment to make sure I'm not muted. Yep, always bait. Here, put your hands into my wounded side and see for yourself. Thomas didn't give in to your doubts any longer. Just believe. Yeah. I knew that would happen. Yep. Oh, yep. Anglo-Saxons are Germanic. But the other interesting thing is, these Germanic people did not live in, well, they didn't live in what is now Germany. It was north of the Rhine. I believe it was like France and Holland and Belgium and whatnot were Germanic people as well. So it is a bit of a the maps are sketchy from these ages. The calendars are sketchy. There's a lot of stuff sounds like it should be, but it's not exactly that. So I will continue on with this. This view presumes, as does the view associating the origin of Christmas on December 25th with pagan celebrations and winter solstice, that Christians appropriated pagan names and holidays for their highest festivals. Given the Sorry, people. I had to get a bit. Had to get my throat cleared there. I must have been talking a lot. Yeah, this is what happens. That Christians appropriate pagan names and holidays for their highest festivals. Given the determination with which the Christians combated all forms of paganism, the belief in multiple deities, this appears a rather dubious presumption. There is now widespread consensus that the word derives from the Christian designation for Easter, as in albus, in Latin phrase that was understood as a plural of albert dawn and became Eastern in Old High German, the persecutor of the modern German, the precursor of the modern German and English term. The Latin and Greek Passover, provides a root for Pasquis, the French word for Easter. Now, there was something else I was going to say there, and it has just slipped my fucking mind. This is not good. Yeah. So we'll go on to the observances. In the Christian calendar, Easter follows Lent, a period of 40 days, not counting Sundays, before Easter, which traditionally is observed by acts of penance fasting. Easter is immediately preceded by Holy Week, which includes Monday, Thursday, the commemoration of Jesus' Last Supper. Here, Anglo, Charles should have been out handing out Monday money. I'm not sure if I haven't seen anything about it, but that is one of the things that he is required to do, or somebody from the royal family needs to be out doing that, giving the Monday money. For those of you that are not aware, one of the traditions of Lent was to give alms, and how the royal family have always done that is alms is like a donation to people in need. How the royal family have codified that is they would give out Monday money, and that should have been Charles doing that. Jesus' Last Supper with his disciples, Good Friday and the day of his crucifixion, and the Holy Saturday, the transition between crucifixion and resurrection. I can never figure out the pronunciation of this. Liturgical Easter comes after the Great Vigil, which was originally observed sometime between sunset on Easter Saturday and sunrise on Easter Sunday. Later, it would be celebrated in Western churches on Saturday evening, and then on Saturday afternoon, and finally on Sunday morning. In 1955, the Roman Catholic Church set a time for the vigil at 10 p.m., which allowed for the Easter Mass to be celebrated after midnight. In the Orthodox traditions, the vigil continues to be an important liturgical event, while in the Protestant churches it is little known. By the 4th century, the Easter Vigil was well established in various liturgical expressions. It was characterized by the spirit of joyful anticipation and of the resurrection, and because of the belief that Jesus' second coming would occur on Easter, the return of Jesus. In the Roman Catholic tradition, the vigil has 4 parts: the celebration of lights focused on the Paschal candle, the service of lessons called for the prophecies, the administration of the sacraments and baptism and confirmation. I'm guessing that the Roman Catholic Church divides it up that way because they get the charge for all 4 fucking events. There's very little about the Roman Catholic Church that does not involve making money off their believers. To adult converts and the Easter Mass, the use of the Paschal candle to denote the appearance of light out of darkness through the resurrection was first recorded in the year 384, and by the 10th century it had gained general uses. The prominence of baptism at Easter goes back to early Christianity, probably the 4th century, when baptism was administered only once a year at Easter. So for a while, if you were going to get baptized, that was when it was going to happen. In the Roman Catholic service, the priest blesses the water to be used for the forthcoming years of baptism, with the festival taking some of that water with them to receive the protection from the vicissitudes. Lutheran and Anglican churches use variations of this vigil service. All Christian traditions have their own special liturgical emphasis for Easter. The Easter sunrise service, for example, is a distinctive Protestant observance in North America. The practice may derive from the gospel narrative of Jesus' resurrection, which states that Mary Magdalene went to the tomb while it was still dark, or as dawn was breaking. It is a service of jubilation that takes place as the sun rises to dispel the darkness. Oh, I like that picture. I would like it better without the fucking advertisement, but yeah. Visitors weathering the cold temperature celebrate Easter with a sunrise service at Mather Point on the south rim of the Grand Canyon in Arizona, where Willie's Desert hangouts come from. Can I make this larger? Yeah. That's cool. That was cool. I like that. Now, can I get back to the article? Easter customs. I'm going to check the chat, make sure I'm still being heard. Yeah, I'm good. So candles were nice. I have no idea what percentage Pict, Celt, Anglo-Saxon, or Norman I am. I don't need to. I know I am. Packy, you've got a Saxon body type. I can tell you that much. The interesting thing about one of the weird things about growing up in Northern Ireland and all of our marching bands and whatnot, you notice body shapes and body types on the parade because there's a whole bunch of people that do certain things that all have the same body type. And I would say you have got a Saxon body type, possibly with a bit of, and I would say you're Anglo-Saxonish. Other car hire companies are available. Yeah, right. Easter customs. Easter, like Christmas, has accumulated a great many traditions, some of which have little to do with the Christian celebration of the resurrection, but derive from folk customs. The custom of Easter lamb appropriates both the appellation used by Jesus Christ in the sculpture, "Here is the Lamb of God who takes away the sin of the world," and the lamb's role in a sacrificial animal in ancient Israel. In antiquity, Christians placed lamb meat onto the altar, had it blessed, and then ate it on Easter. I hope there was cooking involved. Since the 12th century, the Lenten fast has ended on Easter with meals including eggs, ham, cheese, and bread, and sweets that have been blessed for the occasion. Because at the end of it, you got to have something nice. The use of painted and decorated Easter eggs was first recorded in the 13th century. The church prohibited the eating of eggs during Holy Week, but chickens continue to lay eggs during that week. And the notion of specifically identifying those as Holy Week eggs brought about their decoration. Right, so these are the eggs that we got during the week that we weren't allowed to eat them, and we'll decorate them and make them look special so as to know what they are. The egg itself became a symbol of the resurrection. No, it didn't. Just as Jesus rose from the tomb, the egg symbolizes. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. This is pedigree bullshit. Pedigree bullshit. Bullshit alert. Bullshit alert. Bullshit alert. No, the egg itself became the egg was just there because it was nice to have eggs and we hadn't been allowed them for a while. Just as Jesus wrote. In the Orthodox tradition, eggs are painted red to symbolize the blood of Jesus shed, Jesus shed on the cross. No, it wasn't. It was because Mary seen something red in the tomb, and that's where that comes from. Britannica, do some fucking research. The custom of associating a rabbit or a bunny with Easter arose in Protestant areas of Europe in the 17th century, but did not become common until the 19th century. The Easter rabbit or Easter bunny is said to lay eggs as well as decorate or hide them. In the United States, the Easter bunny also leaves children baskets with toys and candles on Easter morning. Something I remembered, I can remember my sister always getting an Easter basket whenever we were young children, and Actually, I got one too. I think we both got them. We had a wicker basket, and there would been straw put in that, and the Easter eggs were being placed into that, and you'd have seen lots of people, and that's what we would have took our eggs in to go roll down the hill. Easter baskets is something I haven't seen in a very, very long time, although I do see people rolling their eggs down the hill. In the United States, Easter Bunny also leaves children baskets, toys, candles on Easter morning, a tradition enjoyed by non-religious families and Christians alike. Yeah, it's enjoyed by non-religious families because their kids go, that Easter Bunny thing, that's like Santa. He's coming to our house too, isn't he? Yes, give me the eggs. That's why it's practiced by non-religious people. The practices has been seen as a manifestation of the Protestant rejection of Catholic Easter customs. In some European, imagine that. Imagine that we want different traditions. In some European countries, however, other animals, in Switzerland, the cuckoo, in, I don't even know where that country is, Westphalia, it's the fox, brought the Easter eggs. I think, yep. I think that is enough of that. And I'm going to look at the comments because we are 1 hour and 31 minutes in. Easter bonnet. Yeah, that sounds very good. Yeah, I'd be happy enough for that. The year my dad saved the girl from a factory fire, she gave him the biggest chocolate rooster I've ever seen. I was 7. He gave it to his mum. We were so disappointed. Oh, right, your dad gave your granny the big fancy egg, and you wanted it. Oh, 1 second. Yeah, no, I have not seen Paca naked, but I've seen him sit in the chair and I've seen him stand up and walk about, and that looks to me like a Saxon body type. Definitely not Pictish. Thank you. It sounds like it should be check. Right, now with that, I'm going to play a little musical interlude. It's going to be one of mine. What do we want to have? I think we're going to have harmony, melody, and rhyme. Yep, we are. We're going to have harmony, melody, and rhyme.
Hello, this is 42 speaking. Welcome to the Resistance. You are not alone, and we shall walk this journey together. What about you, chum? If one brings a guitar and one brings a voice, then they stand together and make their own choice. Let us gather together those that can perform, and from the scarred timbers build our own platform. From that grand house they tried to burn down, there's gold in the ashes if you look around. Let us gather together those that can perform, then from those scarred timbers build our own platform. Build our own For all time. Harmony, melody, and rhyme. We descended from minstrels in old days of yore. We will create a culture as we did once before. Forced to stand by as our country was sold. Did you really think we'd leave that story untold? So one brings a guitar and one brings a voice. Then they stand together and make their own choice. They have seen the future, the way forward is clear. Among us still stands a modern day Shakespeare. They have seen the future, the way forward is clear. Among us still stands a modern day Shakespeare. Stand by as our country was sold. Did you really think we'd leave that story untold? We will sing words of wisdom. We will sing we will sing harmony, melody, rhyme. Harmony, melody, and rhyme. So one brings a guitar and one brings a voice. Then they stand together and make their own choice. I have seen the future, the way forward is clear. Among us still stands a modern day Shakespeare. You cannot kill a dream. So we will gather together those that can perform, and from the scarred timbers build our own platform. You're talking the 42. What about you, chum? If one brings a guitar and one brings a voice, then they stand together and make their own choice. Sing words of wisdom, we will sing for all time. We will sing for our people, harmony, melody, and rhyme. We will sing words of wisdom, we will sing for all time. We will sing for our people with the ancient trilogy of harmony, melody, rhyme. The sun each became a deity, independent parts of another trilogy. Is it a coincidence or is it just sublime that we now bring excellence in harmony, melody, and rhyme? With power and wealth, you control the mainstream, but you never realized you could not kill a dream. You cannot kill a dream. And we shall walk this journey together.
Okay. And in a quick change of pace, we're going to move from one story of salvation to another. Because it's Easter. We've got Easter Monday where everybody's off work. And guess what's happening in my country? It's going to be hard for you to guess this one. But what mass event, what type of mass event would be happening in Northern Ireland on Easter Monday. Have a guess. And we'll see if anybody gets it right while I'm while I'm getting this ready to share to the stream. Anybody? Of course. Well, of course there's marching bands. Well, there is actually the no. Yeah, these people are out again. This is actually the Apprentice Boys of Derry. I'm going to give you a quick story about this. Ballymoney, on up the road a bit from where Rags is from. Ballymoney to be turned crimson with the biggest ever Easter Monday Apprentice Boys Parade commemorating the Siege of Derry. And this is where it links in, because we had one story about the salvation of all of humanity, and we're going to have another story that links to the salvation of the Apprentice Boys of Derry and the people who lived in that city whenever they were being starved to death by the Irish people. So a tremendous turnout is to turn Ballymoney crimson next week as a massive Apprentice Boys parade commemorates the start of the Siege of Derry. Now, the reason why they say crimson is because whenever the ships were coming to relieve Londonderry, they were unsure if they needed to go in or if the people were doing all right. And what they did was they got a banner and they made it crimson with the blood of the survivors, and they hoisted that up so that the people would know, yeah, get your ships into here. You need to come help us now. So this is the celebration, and it should come on to tell us exactly why it's on this weekend. The County Antrim town hosts thousands of apprentice boys led by an impressive 72 bands in what the organisers hope will be the biggest Easter Monday parade the organisation has ever had. That's actually quite important, because as much as our parades all seem large, they have been shrinking, and this is a sign of a turn. Now, to be fair, the Apprentice Boys of Derry would be the smallest of the three marching fraternities. You've got the Orange Order, the Royal Black Preceptory, and the Apprentice Boys of Derry. The Apprentice Boys would have been the smallest one, but they are increasing in size, because guess what? Everything in my community is in fucking all-out recruitment. We are recruiting like nobody's business because it needs done. It's also the culmination of a significantly expanded program of events as a week-long series of cultural, community, and family-focused bashes have been staged for the first ever Easter Ballymoney Crimson Festival. So what's happening in Ulster? We are expanding our festivals. We're making them larger. We're making them more inclusive to ourselves. There's nothing that happens in any of our festivals that are inclusive to anybody that doesn't believe basically what we believe. Trust me, you couldn't go there if you were. When I say inclusive, I mean to bring other Protestants into the fold, not anyone else. Still to come over this weekend are a family fun day at Ballymoney Showgrounds, running from noon to 4 p.m. today. It features a special appearance from the Siege Cannon display team, alongside amusements and carnival games, live performers, food village, outreach and community stalls, inflatables and face painting. Though the events are depend on the weather, and the weather holds, as Storm Dave is expected to strike Northern Ireland over the course of the day. Unless things got physically blew away, nothing will have been cancelled. Tomorrow sees a special church service at St Patrick's Church of Ireland in Ballymoney, including the dedication of a new banneret and officers' regalia, accompanied by Coleraine fife and drums. That's a class picture. And then on the big day itself, a celebration culminating in Ballymoney, welcoming thousands of Apprentice Boys and 72 bands for the annual Easter Monday Parade. Feeders run from 10:30 a.m. to noon, with the main procession starting in Ballymoney Showgrounds at 12:30. Well, actually, no. Feeders in Ballymoney might start then, but they'll start in Belfast about 8 in the morning because they've got to get there for 10. And all of the lodges that go to this and all the bands that take them, they parade in their local area before they go there, and then whenever they come back, they parade in their local area whenever they come back. Granted, it is a short parade, but it does wake people up. I love being woken up by a marching band. However, if you don't like marching bands, if you're not part of that community, it probably pisses you the fuck off, but, well, that's how it goes. Moving along Charles Street to Main Street, it loops around the heart of the town along Meeting House Street, Trinity Drive, and John Stewart High Street, and finishing on Newgrange Road. Here is the organisers of Coleraine District amalgamated, and you can see that these collarettes that these people are wearing. A collarette is one that goes over the shoulders and down, over both shoulders and meets in the middle, whereas a sash would go typically from your left shoulder across to your right hip and then across the back. A spokesman for the organizers Coleraine and District amalgamated say they're looking forward to a truly historic Easter in Ballymoney, capping off a week centred around celebration of the Apprentice Boys, creed and contribution to life in Northern Ireland. This year's programme represents a major step forward in how we celebrate and share our culture. By introducing the Crimson Festival, we created a full week of activities that welcome the entire community and visitors from further afield. For tourists, they get to go and watch. That's it. You can go, you can watch, you can enjoy. Don't try to take part. And do not step into a marching band or lodge, because that will work out painful. Generally speaking, the plan is if somebody walks into your lodge or band, let them get in the middle and then try to get out, because that's going to be very fucking sore. The governor of Associated Clubs of the Apprentice Boys of Derry, William Walker, commended the organisers for their initiative, drive and dedication in organising not just a huge parade, but a whole week of events that offered a celebration for the entire community. Again, they mean our community, nobody else's. He said, all this effort has been rewarded by the way local businesses and other organisations have embraced the Ballymonday idea and joined in making the weekend in Ballymena a special one, because Ballymoney is a Protestant town, so the people in the businesses want these people to come, spend their money and have a good time, so they've got involved too. It's great. We are especially looking forward to Easter Monday, when Ballymoney will be turning crimson with tremendous turnout from our clubs, members and their accompanying bands. Right, here we go. The important bit. The events mark the 337th anniversary of the start of the Siege of Derry proper. Although the famous shutting of the city's gates happened in December 1688, the arrival of deposed King James and his band of rebel scum arrived on April 16th, 1689, is held to be when the blockade truly begun. So what happened was the King James's army arrived at the gates in December, and the apprentices shut the Londonderry is a walled city. So what they did was, whenever the army came up, nobody in the town was 100% sure what to do, and these 13 apprentices took the initiative, went and shut the gate, and basically told the army to fuck off, and began making plans to repeal them. King James was further down south. He arrived up on the 16th of April, and that's whenever that's classed as a siege proper, and it lasted for 105 days. And again, we don't go with the exact date. We go with Easter Monday because it's a day that everybody has off work. So we put it close to it, but not exactly on it, in the same way that Christians have done with Easter. This is how we do things, and how, and not just in Northern Ireland, this is how traditions evolve. Marked every Easter Monday, the Apprentice Boys, it was the start of a grueling 105-day siege as the enemy tried to starve the population out until the city's relief by King William's forces and the ship Mountjoy that broke the boom and saved the Apprentice Boys. We'll go take that down, have a look at the comments. You love being woken up by police cars, yeah. We possibly could have got on, except I would not have trusted the Catholics. They'd have fucking done something. Well, it's inclusive for our community. See, I'll show you how inclusive it is. If you like this song, you would consider it to be inclusive. If you don't like this song, you would not consider it to be inclusive. And just let me get this. Where did I have it? Right, we'll go to this, and yep, that's the one I want. Now, where is? All right. Right. Here we go. Inclusive of people that like this type of music or song. StreamYard. So not really, yeah. Here we go. Rebel scum. yeah. So there's a lot of that going on, and other songs that would be even more provocative. So it's inclusive to a point. Basically, you'll get everything from proper loyalists, half-baked Protestants, super prods. We call them super prods, but they're not super. That whole diaspora of Britishness and Protestantism, all very welcome. If you're not of that persuasion, it's probably not inclusive. We keep getting told it's not, and we need to be more inclusive, and we're like, yeah, we're inclusive to the point where you can come and watch. Oh, I was excellent at opening a box, taking the plastic cover out, taking the egg out, taking the silver foil off, cutting the egg in half, wrapping the paper around again, getting it all to look like nothing had been touched, then putting it all back in the box. Ulster, mate, Northern Ireland. It was the Irish. It was the Irish we were fighting, along with the Jacobites and King James and all that. Is where we're at. This Northern Ireland, mate. Although having said that, there's a lot of Scottish loyalists as well. The other thing I will say, yeah, tut. Yeah, you could call on every fucking Christmas morning, but because see, whenever you took the egg out of that box, we're like, yeah, it's another one you've had to back out of. But sure. Interesting, that song I just played. There are 3 different sets of lyrics. Well, there's some words that are changed here and there, and from that I can tell whether that version was a Londonderry version. A Belfast version is slightly different, and the Scottish version is slightly different again. So it is regionalized, although it's the same song, same tune. Oh no, not Jacob. The Jacobites. They're fucking. What's that word? Cunts. Yes. So there's that. Right. Now, and what I'm going to leave you with, and my thoughts for leaving you is next week is England Day. Please, please, please go out and enjoy being English. Do something interesting. Quite fond of the Huguenots, but actually there's Huguenots buried in the same country graveyard that a lot of my ancestors are buried in. So I always go over and have a look at the large Huguenot family crypt in there. Yep, England Day next week. Get involved with your culture. Get involved with your history. Get involved with your traditions. And if you are doing something like having an oyster fry, having a full English breakfast, or going to a beach for fish and chips, can you please take a picture, get a little George Cross in it, and email it to me so that I can log it onto the Facebook page and the Substack and do a bit of an article about various events that are happening. And by event, I mean that in the loosest form possible. One person doing one thing is a fucking event. It counts, someone can log it. And until we have widespread participation in England Day, we're going to have to fabricate a bit. Home of GT bicycles. I had a GT mountain bike for quite a while. Yes, It proudly said California on it, or well on the box. Very welcome aboard. I know you from the Waffling House. Thank you for coming across and giving us a listen. Hit that subscribe button if you want to come back. What you'll get here is British history, culture, tradition, from a very patriotic perspective, but also loyalism and a bit of England Day. So, yes, get involved with England Day. Send me an email. The email address is in the description of every video. And with that, I'm going to play the England Day song, and then close the thing up. And I will put your comments up on the stage. Here we go. Yep, next week. Who are ye in rags and rotten shoes, all dirty and bearded, blocking up? Dan, some toffee, and I will be here to celebrate with you. See you all. All right, yes. I was about to say, did you not hear? I'm not streaming next week. It will be 2 weeks before I have a stream. There will be other video stuff coming out. There'll be a duck race video for the England Day duck race. Emma and I will be getting that done. Actually quite enjoy that England Day duck race. And there'll be other stuff coming up. So Packet Sans from Communion next week on his channel is doing the stream in my slot and doing England Day, I believe. Possibly with a little bit of Brad James involved. That is quite amazing. I'm really pleased with that. Right. England Day is the Saturday before the 14th of April. The reason why it's on the Saturday before is because we wanted a day where everybody's already off work or generally off work. I do have dreams that we can get this thing large enough that we can lobby for it to be made a public holiday. But for that, we need a really large public participation, like getting to the point where everybody's taking the day off. But we will start with where we're at. So it is the Saturday before the 14th of April. It's next Saturday. However, if you want to do something but that date doesn't suit, feel free to celebrate England Day on the wrong day. Well, the theory is that you could put your flag up for England Day and take it down St. George's Day, which solves one of the large-scale problems that you get whenever you start putting flags up outside your house and whatnot. People going, why is he doing that? Why is she doing that? How long is that going to be there for? That flaps at night. You can hear it at night. The wind blows it and it flaps off the thing. And you go, yeah, actually, it's going up at this date. It's coming down at this date. This is the reason why. And would you kindly fuck off? So that's why. St. George's Day is St. George's Day is a different type of a event. But anyway, right, I'm going to play this now. I'm going to put the comments up on the stream. Who are ye in rags and rotten shoes, all dirty and bearded, blocking up the way?
We are English. We come from the edge of Europe,
beyond which lies only water, ice and death. This is the place we made our home.
Raised our cattle, planted the crops, evoked their gods from circles formed of stone, so those gods could witness us atone.
When Roman forces did invade, we fought as lions, refused to yield, and those we left out in the field, of the English, they were the seed.
Who adversity did propagate, an indomitable people who we would fight, toil and mock in equal measure, and find humour in our adversity, because that is our way. The battle-weary tribes besieged by Vikings,
banded as brothers with Angles, Jutes and Saxons, took some years of consideration
to produce our culture of toleration. The creation of the English nation at Stamford Bridge we won the day, but William was quickly on his way.
1066, the commutation brought the cursed Norman invasion. A ruling class they would impose until calls for Magna Carta arose. And to all the kings the message was sent: you only rule us by consent.
So what of the English, I hear you ask? You know us as the working class, the ones whose toil, blood and sweat brought you the greatest empire yet. So you should learn at your mother's knee of revolutions that number 3.
That number 3.
1, 2, 3. Agricultural, where mechanized planting and harvesting was married to selective breeding, we created a food surplus, the envy of the world. Industrial, where we conjured cities to house factories inhabited by a well-earned workforce to man the machines. This coupled to the ingenuity of English engineers who never found a problem without a solution. The third, the glorious one, that brought about civil and religious liberty, one rule for all, and the radical notion that a man should profit from his labours. But we are not greedy. We exported our language, our law, our sense of fair play. In our safe shipping lanes trade flows through never-ending day.
And when Britannia ruled the waves,
we used our power to free all slaves. We managed the world and allowed all others to travel in the social order we created with humour in adversity, because that is our way. Achievements we have too many to list. From this small kingdom God has kissed, we travelled the world from the highest mountain to Arctic's Kabatic, tundra and back again. The traces of our canvas are in our railway lines that transport the world to work, our compassion in the water systems that hydrates foreign soil.
We left everywhere better than we found it, because that is our way.
I could list another thing or two, like how we taught the world to queue, but I'll leave that for another occasion. It's time to have a celebration. Admire the wonders of our creation. To our ancestors, homage we must pay for doing things the English way. For we are the English, and this is our day.
Rotten shoes, all dirty and bearded, blocking up the way.
We are the pilgrims, master. We shall go always that little bit further. It may be beyond that last blue mountain barred with snow, across that angry or glimmering sea. We are the English.
Every Englishman's house is his castle. So hoist your colours and ramparts for England Day. Then down after St George's Day. We are English, and we'll be patriotic in an organised way.
I didn't realise it was muted. Hashtag my Pentagon flag will be going up tomorrow. The true English flag. Hashtag go for it. Go for it. Go with what fucking suits you. Another good call is your county flag. I get people have got issues with the George Cross. Fine. Go with what. Be patriotic in your own way. Don't let anybody demand that you must fit into a fucking certain way of doing things, but yeah, if that's a flag that works for you, put it up, man. Please, everyone get a drum machine. Curry space. Ah, thank you. Thank you. Yep. How's that? Yep. Cool. Yep. If that's a flag, if that's a flag that represents you, put that standard up. Go for it. I will see you all in 2 weeks. Well, I will see you all in 2 weeks for a live. I should have at least one video. Yep, just be English. You got this. Yep, be English. Be fucking English. Remember who you are. Be who you are. Be the whole bitch. I will see you all in 2 weeks for a live. There will be at least one video that comes out between now and then. But other than that, good night. God bless. I've been 42. You lot in the chat have, as always, been fucking amazing. Good night. God bless. See you all in 2 weeks. I'm out of here. Goodbye.